Overflow. Let's talk about it. Jesus, coffee. Peppermint bark coffee. So good. So let's talk about overflow. I read through a devotional this morning, going through a reading plan with a friend of mine, and about forgiveness, because they're struggling to walk through some forgiveness. And in there, God showed me something that I don't think I truly had my eyes open to. Maybe had my physical eyes open to it many times, but hadn't had my spiritual eyes open to, and missed the concept of what he was talking about. And it was so good to catch a revelation of what he was showing me in there. It may be obvious to others. Maybe my eyes were a little slower. I don't know. So I'm going to read through a passage in 23rd Psalm, which I love 23rd Psalm. We're actually going to read through verse 5, which I love verse 5. So good. So we'll read through verse 5, and we'll go through that. So in verse 5, verse 4, he's come out of the valley of the shadow of death. He'll fear no evil. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Right? Verse 5, he talks about preparing a table in the presence of the enemies, which is telling us to sit and eat with our enemies. Don't run from them. He's telling us to sit and eat from them. Then he says, you anoint my head with oil, and we've discussed that. That's talking about preparation for spiritual warfare, right? Like the shepherd anoints a sheep's head with oil to keep the flies away so that we don't allow the enemy to begin to attack us in our minds, right? That's where spiritual warfare starts, right there. He says, my cup overflows. Why is that important? And that's really where we want to hang this morning, is my cup overflows. Why is that important? Multiple reasons. I mean, first of all, it's speaking of God's abundance. Like, you're preparing a table in the presence of my enemies, because why? I shouldn't be pursuing my enemies. I shouldn't be running away from them. I should be dining with them. I should be sitting and breaking bread with them. Why? Because that's where reconciliation happens. He doesn't desire for us to stay enemies. He desires reconciliation. Right? Anoint my head with oil, so preparation for spiritual warfare. But cup overflows. Right? So if you've ever been pouring a drink and talking, and you look away for a second, and man, it got full, a lot quicker than you anticipated, and it overflowed. Right? It overflowed and spilled out. We're that cup. And he's pouring his grace, his mercy, his love, his forgiveness into us. And it overflows. So it spills out. Are we letting that spill out onto others? Are we letting his grace, his mercy, his goodness, his faithfulness, his kindness, his forgiveness, his patience, are we letting that spill out onto others? Or are we trying to clean that up really quick so nobody else? No. Cup overflows because we should be letting it overflow onto others. So others are getting blessed with the same things he's blessing us with. So they can experience his goodness. I'm going to purposely overfill that for you so that others can experience me. Others can experience what's coming out of me, not me. I don't need people to know Jim. I need people to know God. I need people to know Jesus. I need people to know that he's the one that's pouring the grace and the mercy and the kindness and the goodness and the faithfulness and the forgiveness into me. Am I letting that spill out? Because he just continues to pour. Am I letting that spill out, or am I continuing to try and put it in other vessels? It should be overflowing onto others. And that's the way we should live our lives, is letting it overflow. Excuse me. Letting it spill out onto others. Right? When we have those tough conversations with people where they're a little rigid, where there's rigidity, we need to be softer to catch that, to allow for that. But we don't always do that. And again, I say this because those are areas I need to tighten up on. I got into a live on Monday night that went longer than it should have, by far. And I felt myself getting weary. Felt myself getting tired, yet I kept facing attack. And how did I respond? Not in love. I responded in haughtiness. I responded in arrogance. I responded in, morning, Anthony. What's going on, my brother? I responded in a way I shouldn't have. What did I do? The individual was talking about Catholicism. What overflowed out of me? Haughtiness, arrogance. Yep. I've studied your word and went and got a Catholic catechism and shown. I've looked at yours. I know what it says. That wasn't loving. That was not loving at all. There certainly wasn't grace and mercy and love flowing out over the top. It was haughtiness and arrogance and pride and all of the things that are of the enemy. And I felt that conviction of that. I was like, man, you got to be better. You got to be better. So when we feel our flesh start to take control of us, we feel our flesh start to grab in, the enemy's got the hooks, now we become marionettes for him. It's exactly what I looked like on Monday night, about 11 o'clock at night. I looked like a puppet for the enemy. Yet I sat in there and talked about Jesus. And then started to weaponize Scripture. Because we got to get love overflow. I'm guilty. I hate that happened. I hate that happened. He's so good and so faithful and so loving. And we're called to be all of those things. Let his love, his mercy, his forgiveness, his grace, let it overflow. Because that's what he does. He does that intentionally. My cup overflows. He doesn't have bad eyesight and struggle with seeing where the top of the cup is. No, he just continues to pour. Why? Because he lavishes it on us. Just continues to pour. I'm not going to stop pouring. Why? Why do you want me to? Why do you want me to stop pouring? creates a mess. Yeah. Can't have a message without the mess. Can't have a testimony without the test. Can't spell testimony without a test. Can't spell message without a mess. Bottom line, guys, let it flow. Let your cup overflow. And share it with others. Like, oh, look, here you go. Like, have some. Take it. And let it overflow with goodness. Don't let your cup overflow with what you're putting in there. Because when you're pouring in your own cup, that's where things go south. So, I love you guys. We can keep it short today. You know, and here's what I'm going to leave you with. And here's the reminder. And here's Monday night as I felt the conviction all the way back to my bed. Here was the reminder that allowed my eyes to close in peace after repenting for that. My baptismal, my testimony verse. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. But the remembrance that His goodness and His mercy, they follow me all the days of my life. I know that I don't have to worry about that because I know He's got my back. Do you ever wonder why in the armor of God there's not a back piece? We have the belt of truth. We have the breastplate of righteousness. We have the shield of faith, the shoes of the gospel of peace, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit. There's no back plate. There's a breastplate. Why? Because we never turn our backs to our enemies, one. Two, He's got our back. His mercy and goodness will follow me all the days of my life. So I know that He has my back. It's His mercy and His goodness that will follow me. Not my own. His. Walk in that. Walk in that reminder that there's grace there. Give yourself grace when you make a mistake and go, okay. Take that conviction and be better next time. Apply it. Right? So, I love you guys. He loves you like crazy. We'll be back tomorrow with really whatever Dad wants to talk about. Love you guys.